welcome into NFL Power Rankings. I'm Colleen Wolfe alongside three-time Pro Bowler Maurice Jones-Drew and the man who's been writing the Power Rankings now for 7 years, Elliot Harrison. What do you have in store for us today?
I got no Pro Bowls, but I got a top 10 team that's going to shock you. And I have two teams that played in primetime that I think you're going to be angry about where I put them. I think he's going to be angry.
Not me.
No, not you. You're going to be fine.
Okay, here's the top 10. The Packers are number one at the top of the list. Why?
You know, I had them in the top 5 going into the season, Colleen, and what I was worried about was their defense. I think everybody was. That secondary is healthier now. I know people want to put this game on Seattle's offensive line. Somebody had to make that offensive line look bad. I'm not even talking about Aaron Rodgers yet. I loved what I saw from the defense. That's why they're number one. They played a good team.
What do you think? Because Aaron Rodgers got rocked.
You know what? Aaron Rodgers, he was okay, but I think we're going to talk about the Chiefs.
This is your
Go
team.
ahead. Tell me about the
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Let's be honest. I know this is who you want to talk about. MJD, my esteemed colleague, did predict this. I have Kansas City at 2 for 2 reasons. One, they may have been the most impressive performance of Week 1. That doesn't make them the best team. And losing Eric Berry for the year is huge, MJD.
Well, you know what? For me, it seemed like the Chiefs made the New England Patriots look sloppy. Like, on all facets of the game. Special teams running into the kicker.
21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter.
Something that we've never seen. I want to say Brady was like 102-0 when leading in the fourth quarter. Something crazy like that. And the Chiefs were able to stop that. That's why I feel like they beat a more valiant opponent on the road. I feel like they should be number one. The Packers are playing at home, and they beat the Seattle Seahawks the last 2 times in Lambeau, so it's not that big of a deal that they won that game.
Right, but you can only play who's on your schedule. I had Green Bay as a higher team coming in. Green Bay did play a very good team. No, they didn't play New England, but we don't know that Green Bay wouldn't have beaten New England. Listen, if we're talking most impressive Week 1 performance, it goes to Kansas City and the Rams.
But they should be number one.
But that doesn't mean they're the best team in the league just because they were impressive in Week 1. And I do, once again, Eric Berry, that is a huge injury for them.
Is this Week 2 power rankings?
It is. It's Week 2 power rankings.
So it should go off the most impressive team with the most impressive win. Should automatically jump to number 1,
hey,
right?
Rams should be number 1.
No, because the Rams played an opponent that we have at 32, so I got to understand that.
Okay.
So you put Chiefs at number 1?
Yes, they knocked off the Pats who were number 1. Why wouldn't they jump up? I mean, and it wasn't like and this other thing, I'm sorry I keep cutting you off, but I have to. It's not as if they just like squeaked by him. Like it was like an easy, like, oh, it's a tight win. Yep. No, they handled them throughout the course of the game. I loved it.
Green Bay played a pretty good opponent too, bud.
Look, the Patriots, they struggled. They couldn't convert in short yardage situations. It wasn't a good luck for them. But we want to know what you think. Who's number 1, the Chiefs or the Packers? You can tweet us at NFL Network to cast your vote right now.
Brady drops back and bucks. Wide open Dwayne Allen.
Oh, completely missed by the quarterback.
There's pressure, and Tom gets drilled. Brady and company going backwards now. 2nd down and 18. And Tom goes down. Smith wears back, throws a deep ball down the right side for a wide open Tyreek Hill. Goodbye. Gillislee runs up the middle. He's stuffed. He won't get there.
Time to wake up.
So the Patriots remain in the top 3 as we look at the rest of this week's top 10. MJD, what do you think about this with the Patriots?
Elliot, come on.
I'm happy with that.
Really?
Philly at 10, Detroit at 9. I thought it was nice. Pittsburgh dropped to 8.
I feel like Oakland should be higher. I feel like Atlanta should be higher. Dallas should be higher.
Atlanta. You mean Atlanta, who barely beat the team you said had no talent?
They won on the road in Chicago. It's always tough to play in Chicago, no matter how bad the team is. That's a tough traveling place.
Why don't you just say the truth, which is you're disappointed about the Patriots being 3?
I'm disappointed because, one, they played sloppy. Tom Brady, he couldn't throw the ball to anyone. Their defense couldn't stop the run. Okay? Then you allowed Alex Smith, who doesn't throw the ball downfield, to throw for 300-plus yards. I mean, it was uncharacteristic of the Patriots. I know everyone's going to say Bill Belichick's going to be able to fix this, but the only way you can fix it if you have players to do it. You lost Dante Hightower. You lose Julian Edelman. They have some issues that we have to really sit down and talk about and think about. You just can't say, like we all do, drink the juice like that Heath has us drinking, that they're going to fix it right away. They have to show us before I can say you're a number 3 team.
I don't think there's any question. And you didn't even mention Rob Ninkovich's retirement, which I thought was going to play a part in this season. That said, we've overreacted with the Patriots before. I remember the Lawyer Malloy game when they got blown out, and then they ended up winning the Super Bowl that year.
That was like 18 years ago.
Same head coach, same quarterback. I think we need at least 2 or 3 mediocre weeks before we start dropping the Patriots to 26th in the rankings.
You're killing me by giving these people a chance. All I can go off is Week 1.
Oh,
That's
I know.
it. It's a week-by-week league, Elliot.
Yeah.
Week by week, game by game.
What about the Falcons? Because they're 1-0 despite a scare from the Bears in Chicago. Because of that, they fell to number 5 in this week's rankings. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, they're up to 6 after their big win over the Giants. In addition to the win, it looks like they'll have Ezekiel Elliott for the rest of the season. Elliot, why are the Falcons ranked higher than the Cowboys here? The Falcons almost lost to the Bears.
Yeah, admittedly, this one was tough, but I knew that Chicago was going to give the Falcons a hard time, and I also knew there was going to be a little bit of a transition with the new offensive coordinator in Atlanta. This was a road game, okay, against a pretty good front seven that matched up well with what Atlanta was trying to do. Dallas played a division opponent who was missing their best player, and oh, by the way, in front of the home folk. That's why I have Atlanta barely over the Cowboys. I do think the Falcons will rebound.
All right. Do you agree with this? Because the Falcons, for me, it looked like they were almost a little rusty. It wasn't the same high-flying offense that we've seen from Matt Ryan.
I would agree with that. It's also week 1.
My 4th grade math teacher, Mrs. Westbrook, taught me to show my work before I go out there and give you the answer.
So let me
shout out Miss Westbrook, St. Peter Martyr. I don't know if she's still there. But let me go and show you guys. Come here. Let me put my seat back because that's what
we're doing. A little balance of power.
Here we go. A little balance of power, okay? So, rush offense. I got to give it to Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys. That offensive line has played well.
Generous.
They've done a great job. I love it. But when we get to the pass offense, I like Dez and I like Dak and I like Cole Beasley with the one-handed catch, but I have to give it to Matty Ice and Julio Jones. They have Austin Hooper. He went to the De La Salle. I have to do that. Look at this throw. Look at this throw. Look at that. Give it to Julio. Run, baby. Run. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get to the defense, though. So defensively, I thought that the Cowboys' rush defense played mighty well against, even though it was the Giants' offensive line, they did a really good job.
They can't really run the ball.
Yeah, and they can't, but they made sure they
Sean
didn't run the ball.
Lee's a beast, man.
Sean Lee, they have great linebackers. When we get to this pass defense, I'm going to go to the Falcons because they have Big Beasley. They have Tack McKinley. They have Dontari Poe. And they have Desmond Trufant. They have a ton of guys who can go out there and make plays. And they get to the quarterback a ton. They're opportunistic. And the last but not least, Elliot, the biggest one is coaching for me. And when I look at the Dallas Cowboys, I see Jason Garrett. And I'm like, ooh, I want to touch it. But Dan Quinn just took the Falcons to the Super Bowl. So I got to give him that. It doesn't matter. He went to the big game. What has Jason Garrett done? He's been there longer.
So you're saying.
So I agree with you this time. Just this time, I agree with you.
All that.
And you guys agree?
Yes.
Well, I
like to see the work, though. That's good.
I think everybody needs to understand the work. The work is most
Dallas
important.
is better than Atlanta. That's what I think.
I think you're right. How about this? 11 through 20 on the list, Elliot.
Yeah, I tried not to move Tampa Bay and Miami, but the Giants were so bad, I had to bump the Bucks up even though they didn't play. Obviously, the Cardinals, a big fall. Carolina, impressive, albeit against the 49ers. Another great defense was the Baltimore Ravens. But how about Minnesota?
The Vikings at 11. Sam Bradford, I got myself all excited about this offense last night, but then I remember they were playing the Saints defense.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous what they were able to do. I just hope, MJD, it's not like last year when he came out against Green Bay, prime time, winging it around like Fran Tarkenton, and then they finished 8-8.
You're talking about somebody that Fran Tarkenton, I know he was played a long time ago. This is my thing. The Vikings defense showed their dominance. They went out there, they shut down Drew Brees, a high-powered offense. Great job. Stopped the run, got after the quarterback. But offensively, they're healthy. They're healthy. They're able to make plays. They did what they were supposed to. They beat a bad Saints team, and they should continue on. But I'm not too excited just yet. I think you have them a little bit too high.
A little too high.
All right, here are teams 21 to 29 in the Week 2 power rankings. The Redskins fall to 20, while the Rams and Jags are shooting up the charts. So we're going to play a little game here. Too high, too low. I've got 3 teams, and MJD, you're going to tell me whether or not they're ranked too high or too low. Pretty self-explanatory. First up, we got the Redskins at 20. What do you think?
That's too high. They got to go down.
High.
They got to be lower. I'm really concerned with this offense. You lose Sean McVay, and you lose Pierre Garçon, you lose Deshaun Jackson. I actually talked to Dan Hellie. It's the first time 2,000-yard receivers left the team at the same time. They have no weapons. And right now, you let the Eagles get after you. You're throwing picks in the red zone. I'm very disappointed in this. And then Terrell Pryor doesn't.
He struggled to be the number 1 guy out there.
This is one of the games I watched closest. I was worried about their pass protection. I'll just say there were a lot of close plays in this game that could have changed the outcome for sure, more than other weeks, including the call at the end. I thought that was an incomplete pass.
Plus, once they get Jordan Reed back to 100%, should help. All right, what about the Rams?
I was there.
Number 23.
I called this game on radio for the Los Angeles Rams. Way too low. That thing needs to go up higher. These guys beat a team. They put up 46 on an NFL team. That's a lot. Now, you're talking about Wade Phillips' new defense, attacking style, 2 pick sixes, a safety. I mean, they did a great job.
And they didn't even have Aaron Donald.
No Aaron Donald.
I just didn't want to overreact. It was against the Colts, the worst team in the league, and they still having trouble running the football.
Fair. Okay, what about the Bears at 27 right now?
You know what, Elliot? You're right. And I feel like they're too low. They should be higher. They played really well against this Falcons team. Front 7, they were able to. Terry Cohen. This is the guy that I really want to talk about, though. He gave them explosive play after explosive play after explosive play. Had a chance to win the game for him as well.
So shifty.
A market correction may be in order next week for the Bears. I hated to drop them 2 spots. I thought they played tough.
Yeah, and they lost Kevin White, too, which is terrible. How about this? We're focusing on the biggest risers and fallers of Week 2, and power up, power down. The Jags rise 10 spots to 21.
I told you they were too low.
Yeah, well, you thought that they were one of the teams that should bounce up. I wouldn't let you talk about them last week because you're a homer alert. So you talked about the Browns, who actually were pretty impressive as well. But the pass rush, MJD, you saw them go out and get Calais Campbell. He gets 4 sacks.
Saxonville.
And that's the key. I think Yannick Ngakoue is one person that we have to talk about. This guy is rushing on the left tackle every time. Every time he touches the quarterback, the ball comes out. It's just not a sack.
You've got a special place in your heart for him. You announced his name at the draft.
Yannick Ngakoue. That's why I said it again.
What about the Texans falling 12 spots to number 26?
They deserved it. They deserved it because you have a left tackle that you don't have in camp.
Dwayne Brown.
That's still holding out. You don't know who your quarterback is. At halftime, when you bench your quarterback and put your rookie in, that tells me you weren't even confident in playing him anyways. So they just got a lot of things going on, and that defense isn't as good as we thought it was.
All fair points.
All right, let's go to the bottom of the barrel here. Bottom 3, the 49ers, the Jets, and the Colts down there at number 32. Are they going to be 32 until Andrew Luck basically comes back?
We keep waiting. We've been waiting and waiting.
Come back is the question.
Right, and they looked absolutely terrible. I watched that game. I don't think there's any way I can make a case for the 49ers being lower, or even the Jets, who are at least in their game, MJD.
Well, for me, you know what? This comes back to a big old adage in the NFL. Teams try not to have their second quarterback compete with their first guy. You can't do that anymore because guys are getting hurt. Now you end up with Scott Tolzien. You're telling me the Colts saw him all OTAs, all training camp, and said, we can win with this guy? I don't believe it.
Yeah, ugly stuff from the Colts. Numbers 9 through 16 on this week's rankings. But should the Giants be ahead of the Broncos? For more on that, we're going to Balance of Power.
You know what, Colleen? Thank you very much for bringing this out. Now, I want to say this to the people first, Elliot. This is the Giants without Odell Beckham that I'm doing this week because we don't know if he's going to be back. We know he tested out that ankle. It didn't work out. So let's get right into it. Rush offense, just give me that. Now, pass offense is a little iffy. Without Odell, I love the way Trevor Siemian shows some moxie.
You didn't like him last week.
I didn't like him, but he showed me something. I change. I can change. People can change.
I think it's an overreaction to Eli Poor without Odell Beckham.
Eli was horrendous. He was throwing the ball behind receivers, couldn't get the ball off, didn't even attempt to get out of the pocket. It was horrible. Now, rush defense. The Broncos aren't very good against the run. They've added some pieces, but they still need work on it. So I'm going to go ahead. If you could touch that Giants there, I'm going to give that to them. Pass defense, it's a no-fly zone. Come here. You know what the no-fly zone is? That means don't try to throw the ball on these guys. Phillip Rivers had a little bit of success, but the Broncos, I'll give it to them.
These guys are pretty good.
They are, but
they
take the ball away and they score with it. Now, coaching is where we struggle a little bit. Ben McAdoo, I know you have the new hairstyle. You love it. I like it. It's cool. But without OBJ, you had a chance to show that you're a really good coach. And we didn't see that. So I got to go right here with this guy because he has the ice. He has the ice in his veins.
One game.
The ice.
I love the ice in the veins.
He iced him.
I disagree with you.
Won the game for them.
I think with Odell Beckham, they're better here. And I do think he's going to play this week.
If he doesn't, this is how I see it.
I think this is unfair, man. One game versus somebody that got into the playoffs.
All right.
One game.